We're all familiar with the New Year's Eve. The ball drops, fireworks paint the skies, and millions of us stand ready to hit the reset button and of course, set those resolutions. Resolutions are a timeless tradition, from the Babylonians vowing to repay their debts, to the Romans seeking favor from Janus, the god of beginnings. Resolutions symbolize hope and renewal, a legacy from dreamers and doers. And so with that same spirit, we scribbled down our resolutions, optimistic as one can ever be, ready to make this year extraordinary. But let's be honest, what are the odds we'll actually stick to these goals? Feeling called out or challenged even? Either way, the question remains, why do our resolutions so often fizzle out? Is it laziness? A lack of discipline? Or maybe we approach it all wrong. Today we'll explore the science of resolutions, why we fail, and how to make them stick. It's not just about willpower, but with the right strategy, habits, and a little neuroscience, we might yet prevail. Resolutions tap into the fresh start effect, a psychological phenomenon where temporal milestones like New Year's gives us permission to leave the past behind and reimagine ourselves. These aren't just arbitrary dates, but a chance to reflect on our values and commit to change. It's our rebellion against stagnation. Philosophers have long explored the pursuit of purpose. Aristotle's concept of eudaimonia, a life well lived. This isn't found in fleeting achievements, but in living a life that aligns with our values. It's when virtue becomes habit, and habit shapes characters. Nietzsche's eternal recurrence challenges us. If you lived this year on repeat forever, would you be proud of the life you're creating? So ask yourself, is this life I'm building one I'd love, or merely endure? Let's explore why so many resolutions fail. It often comes down to how we approach our goals. Two key concepts shaping goal setting. Superordinate goals. These are the big picture whys, like I want to feel energized and fit to handle life's challenges. And then we have subordinate goals. These are the actionable hows, such as I'll walk 10,000 steps daily. This two-tiered system adds depth to your goals. While it's easy to abandon subordinate goals when life gets hectic, staying connected to your superordinate purpose keeps you grounded. So have you fallen victim to abandoning your subordinate goals? Maybe you feel like you didn't give it enough effort. I didn't push myself hard enough. I just wasn't motivated enough. Just a general doodle talk. The truth is, most resolutions barely make it past February. It's not just you, it's a widespread pattern. But why does this happen? Research reveals common pitfalls that sabotage even the best intentions. Number 1, vague goals. We've all had that 3 a.m. I gotta change my life feeling. Maybe doing crunches on the living room floor, deciding this is it, I'm definitely getting fit. Or maybe this year is the year I'll be more productive. Sure, those goals sound ambitious, but they're too vague. No clear, actionable plan, and your brain is left confused, not knowing where to start. It's like building a house without a blueprint. You wouldn't want to live there. Vague resolutions are just dreams with no roadmap. That's why you need to make your goals smart. And by smart, I mean specific. Define your goals clearly. Measurable. Track your progress. Achievable. Be realistic about what you can do. Relevant. Make sure it aligns with your bigger values. And time-bound. Set deadlines to create urgency. Don't just say, I want to get fit. Try, I'll run 2 miles every Monday and Thursday for the next month. Precise goals make it easier to act and track your wins along the way. 2. Avoidance-oriented thinking. I bet we've all heard the I want to stop eating junk food or I need to quit procrastinating. These goals focus on what you're avoiding, not what you're aiming for. And that's a problem. Studies show that avoidance goals are far less effective than approach-oriented ones. What's the difference? Avoidance goals tell you what not to do, while approach goals highlight positive actions you will take. For example, instead of I want to stop eating junk food, try I'll include fruits or vegetables in every meal. Instead of I want to quit procrastinating, try I'll spend 25 minutes each morning on focused work. Why does this work? Well, a large-scale study found approach goals improve success rates by 12%. Framing your goals positively shifts your mindset from restriction to opportunity. It becomes about what I get to do rather than what I have to give up. 3. All or nothing thinking. I bet we've missed one workout and then it's like, fuck, this whole week is gone. How often do you fall for that trap? A single misstep feels like failure, and before you know it, you've abandoned the goal altogether. But growth isn't linear. It's messy, full of ups and downs, and everything in between. Progress, not perfection, is the real goal. Studies suggest forgiving yourself for slip-ups boosts your chances of long-term success. Failing is inevitable, but learning how to rise again, that is the real skill. 4. The power of social support. We all have important people in our lives, more or less. Social support can be a game changer for sticking to resolutions. Whether it's a workout partner, a family member, or someone in an online community hyping you up. Sharing your goals significantly boosts your chances of success. Humans are wired for connections. When others believe in us, it strengthens our belief in ourselves. What starts as a solitary ambition transforms into a shared purpose, and that is powerful. But balance matters. Research shows that moderate support, like regular check-ins or light accountability, is more effective than overwhelming guidance or going in alone. Think of it like seasoning. Too little is bland and too much is overwhelming. But the right amount? Bussin'! 5. Tracking your progress. Tracking your progress is often underrated. Whether through a habit tracker, a journal, or a calendar, regularly monitoring turns resolution into habits. Monthly check-ins significantly boost the likelihood of success by helping you adjust your approach, celebrate small wins, and stay connected to the bigger purpose. Tracking isn't just about accountability, it shows you have the capacity for growth. Here's the good news: you don't need superhuman willpower to stick to resolutions, just an understanding of how habits work. Every habit, good or bad, follows the same structure. First, the cue, the trigger for your behavior, like placing running shoes by your bed. Second, routine, the action itself, putting on the shoes and going for a jog. And lastly, reward. This is what reinforces the habit, such as an endorphin rush or checking off your calendar. This loop is a foundation of habit building. But let's be real, waking up at 4 a.m. to jog when you usually wake up at 8 is doomed to fail. Instead, let's make this loop smarter with a few tips. Firstly, you have to start small. The author of Tiny Habits, B.J. Fogg, champions the idea of micro habits. It's exactly what it sounds like. Starting with the tiniest possible step. Research shows that small, easily achievable goals are more likely to turn into lasting habits. Why? Because they are manageable. Small wins build confidence, and confidence, well, that fuels momentum. The next tip is anchoring habits to existing rules. Imagine you live halfway up a mountain. Everything else being equal, I bet it's gonna take you less effort to get to the top of that mountain compared to someone starting at the bottom, right? That's the idea of anchoring habits. Tie your new habits to routines you already do, so you're building from halfway up the mountain instead of starting from scratch. For example, if you want to start journaling and you already have your morning coffee every day as to not be a raging shitstick, well, why don't you combine the tasks? Or journal right after your morning coffee. Studies show that attaching habits to existing behavior makes them feel natural and helps them stick over time. Next tip is the long game. If you're one of us, the average plebeian, then building strong habits isn't instant. Research suggests that it takes anywhere from 18 days to 254 days to solidify a habit, depending on the complexity and individual differences. The key here isn't speed, it's staying consistent, especially during those early stages where your effort builds momentum. Remember, progress isn't about perfection. Missing a day doesn't mean starting over. It's about picking up the next day. The goal is resilience, not a flawless streak. And finally, shape your environment. Sometimes the simplest change can make the biggest difference. Studies reveal that designing your environment to support your goals can dramatically increase your chances of success. Want to eat healthier? Keep the fruit and veggies visible and throw the junk food to the back of the closet. Or better yet, don't even buy it. The goal is to make the good choices easy and the bad ones inconvenient. Habit formation isn't about overhauling your life overnight. It's about small, intentional actions that lead to significant transformations over time. You don't need to run a marathon tomorrow. Just take the first step today. Research shows that imperfectly sticking to resolutions can boost self-efficacy. This is the belief in your ability to achieve. It enhances happiness and improves overall quality of life. You know, we often imagine the future as a straight line, a path of endless achievements, a promise of something extraordinary at the end. It's easy to fixate on that destination and disregard the journey itself. But what if progress isn't about arriving? What if it's about understanding who we are in the process? How many of you will be more forgiving of your failures, unafraid to stumble, and brave enough to rise again? Growth is almost never linear. It's imperfect and undeniably human. We're bold enough to seek change, but fragile in our pursuit of meaning. Imagine a world where memories can be erased, where loss no longer carries its weight. At first it might feel like freedom, a release from grief, minds unburdened by failure. But what remains of us when we let go of the pain that shapes us? The road we walk might seem smoother, but we risk forgetting the beauties and the courage of unfinished dreams. The hope found in trying one more time. Progress whispers promises of perfection. But what if the greatest act of progress is the decision to stay, to feel, to grow? Failures will come as they always do. They remind us that growth is messy, non-linear, and deeply human. And that's the lesson. Progress isn't perfection. It's resilience. It's in the small, persistent steps. In the morning we rise after a fall. In the nights we sit with uncertainty and choose to keep going. So, when asked, what does the future promise? Let the answer be simple. Let it be this: to be present, to be kind, and to grow, not in spite of our imperfections, but because of them. To grow is to risk is to fail, and to fail, well, that's how you know you're alive. Here's to change, to be, to become. Here's to another year of growing, risking, failing, and above all, being human. Happy New Year, and I hope those resolutions stick.